Hey, so we're doing another live stream. My name is Levi Smith. This is my art stream. Uh, yeah, welcome. We're gonna do another one 2 days in a row. I announced this on Facebook. Hopefully that gets us a few more views. I'm just gonna put on the glove, pull out my drawing pen, start up a canvas. There we go. And, yeah, welcome. Hope everyone's been doing well today. Anybody that's got one of them birthdays today, happy birthday. Yeah, it's another hot and steamy day here in Phoenix, Arizona. What are we doing today? I don't know. I don't know what we're doing today. That's the plan. That there is no plan. So we're going to draw a thing. I'm going to draw a thing. I don't know what it's going to be. I've been trying not to specifically think about what I would draw. And it worked. So I am going to just get right along to it. I'm going to switch over to this view here. I'm going to go over and I'm going to pull up my little view of the live stream. That's where I can see the chat and all that kind of stuff. And then I am just going to dip in here. Man, I'm wondering, I mean, it's, yeah, we're going, okay. So, man, let's see, what are we going to do on this exciting, what is it, Wednesday? It's Wednesday. On this exciting Wednesday, what are we going to do? We're going to draw a circle. Looks like my pencil there is a little too heavy, a little too thick. There we go. Yeah, so we are just gonna scribble a little bit here. I don't know what we're going to do, but I'm thinking it's gonna be something kind of weird. So we'll just work out a few shapes here. Here's kind of a upper body torso. Do this. So yesterday's stream went well, other than being a disaster. Yeah, drew a cool little robot. Dealt with a bit of a clusterfuck with the computer situation. Lost a good amount of time, but actually, I was pretty happy with what I ended up drawing. It was all right, nothing terrible, nothing embarrassing. Today we're just gonna see what we can come up with here. Just gonna draw these arms here. So go like this. Kind of indicate a bit of a rib cage and an abdomen line. This is kind of looking. This is kind of looking like it would be like a Wolverine or something, huh? I don't know. Maybe that's where we go. Let's see. I'm pretty generally familiar with Wolverine's costume. I do particularly love, the black and tan version of his costume. And as silly as it might be, it's something that I'd still love to see in a movie with Wolverine, and it is him wearing this damn silly cowl. I always thought it was just badass, but completely ridiculous. But that's how comic books are, man. I mean, There's just something about it, you know, something about the parallel reality where, you know, some of these things can kind of be viewed as awesome or intimidating when actually they're pretty damn silly. Uh, let's see here. We're gonna give him his eyes go right up around in here. We'll do a bit of refinement and adjustment on these things as it goes. Just kind of fitting, you know, filling in the obvious and well trodden tropes. Wolverine gotta have his angry eyes on the verge of a berserker rage kind of thing, you know. You know, I'm wondering, you know, and just on the man, that head is massive, isn't it? Just on, you know, the subject of Wolverine, the X-Men Marvel movies. Oh, that's not the right tool. I'm gonna shrink this head. Yeah, I'm really excited to see what they do with the X-Men. I'm really excited to see what Marvel does with the X-Men now that they finally got their hands on it. You know, I really enjoyed seeing like the X-Men cartoon era, Professor X in Doctor Strange. I thought that was pretty awesome. You know, and I'm down, man. I'm ready. You know, it's easily one of my favorite Marvel comics. It was always that and Spider-Man, and I think it's just be really cool to see their interpretations. You know, I'm okay with a recast. You know, Hugh Jackman was great as Wolverine, and nothing can ever like undo that. You know, but I'm okay with seeing a new Wolverine. You know, with so after the Logan movie, you know, I really felt like, you know, they had really set up a nice follow up. Like I really think that if you know, Fox was really planning it out and moving forward in a way, they could have easily have done a Wolverine movie with the girl. I mean, with Wolverine's, you know, clone daughter. Because basically, you know, that's where it would go. That's where the next Wolverine story would go after, you know, Wolverine dies. I mean, it's, you know, it's a thing, you know. I mean, Wolverine's like one of the most popular comic book characters of all time by far. I mean, and with that, you know, he can never die, and he's definitely. You know, they've played around with that idea many different times to try to refresh him, reinvent him. You know, and it's worked. It's worked a number of times. You know, the whole patch look, the no cowl, wearing the A shirt and the jeans. You know, just rolling with some scruff. I mean, that has definitely always worked well for Wolverine. You know, and especially in a cinematic sense, you know. So that's a cool thing. And so yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see what they do. I've got high hopes. You know, I don't have too many irrational expectations. You know, I'm gonna see what they do. One of the things, you know, that I kind of keep in mind is that. You know, if I like another other version, you know, I mean that's been true my whole comic book reading life. You know, there's one artist draws Wolverine this one way, another one draws him another way, and it's like, oh man, I really like the way that this guy does it. Like this really captures it. You know, like nothing's better to me than a Mark Silvestri Wolverine. I mean, he's the guy that just nailed him. You know, it really had the intensity and character and everything. And it was just great, just absolutely perfect, in my opinion. But then you run into somebody else drawing up a Wolverine that you don't really care for, don't really get into, or whatever character it is. And you just move on, man. Just okay. That's I don't dig that one. You know, uh, and then you just move on. Adding some other details of his costume. Yeah, shrinking that head was a good idea. Yeah, okay. And yeah, I mean, so I'm excited. I've liked a lot of what they've done. I haven't loved or felt that everything that's happened in Marvel has been absolutely perfect. But really, there hasn't been anything that I've been mad at. I mean, to tell you the truth, I would say that I guess the one comic book movie that piqued up my nerd rage the most was Venom, and that's just because of how removed the character was from Spider-Man, and to me that's just a no. Like you can do Joker separate from Batman. You can do Lex Luthor separate from Superman. You can't do Venom separate from Spider-Man. It just doesn't make sense. I mean, part of the origin is how Venom derives from Spider-Man. So it's not. I don't think that they're separable in any way. But I mean, what can you do? It took me forever to watch that movie. I did end up really liking that movie. I did like that they didn't put the spider on Venom's chest. They really didn't give him any spider-like powers. He wasn't doing any web swinging and stuff. He was just doing the things that were really kind of like unique to Venom. That weren't even really like present in the symbiote, the Spider-Man version, when Peter Parker was wearing the symbiote. It didn't make him want to eat human brains or any of that kind of stuff. So there is that. And so yeah, so I ended up really digging it. The second one, it was all right. I really did not like Woody Harrelson as Carnage. I really felt that was a miscast. I mean, granted, Woody Harrelson's a great actor, plays a lot of great kooky, crazy roles and stuff. But the guy that played Rorschach in the Watchmen movie, and he was also Freddy Krueger in that remake, which I never saw. But that guy had the intensity and the look that I think that really felt right for Cletus Cassidy and for Carnage. I really wish that that's the guy that they would have went with, because man, he in my mind is just perfect. Cletus Cassidy was a frighteningly intense kind of sociopathic serial killer. There's no reason to give any rationality to his motives. Yeah, sure, you show that he's abused and stuff like that. You give him a little bit of like a Freddy Krueger kind of, poor little kid Freddy Krueger, but none of that should ever justify or make a kind of like a Thanos level argument for Carnage. That's just, it just shouldn't be done. He's one of those, like, kind of like on the level of Joker, where he's chaos, man. I mean, he is just absolutely irrational chaos. I'd say even more so than the Joker. Whichever Joker, you might want to compare him to. I think that it's just that's just what's up. All right, hold on a second here. I want to look for a view on this. Man, we've been going like 15 minutes already. Yeah, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. There's supposed to be a view, and I was using it yesterday. I'm not finding. And, man, I was using it yesterday and I can't see it now. I don't know how to get to it. It's, yeah, so I can't see what's going on. I'm just going to assume that probably no one's actually watching today. I don't know if all of this is working. Doodaloo. So I am just going to, let me see here. I'm just going to go back to the drawing, you know. We got, well, we're about 15 minutes or so in. I'm going to go back to here just so I can maybe see any chat or anything if that happens to pop up. So maybe that link I posted doesn't work. It didn't really look like a real link. It's supposed to be a link to directly to the live stream. Maybe I keep messing that stuff up. I'm still figuring all this out, kind of playing it all by ear, doing it as I go, learning as the need presents itself. Just because I just wanted to jump in, you know. That was part of the game here with all of this, was that I just wanted to get it going, make mistakes as I went, you know, and then learn from them, and hopefully not continually make the same mistakes too many times. That finger needs to. I'm going to do something a little bit more intense of a hand here. So we're just going to kind of do something like this. Bring that off. This is, my fingers are really going to come off here. This is probably going to look like crap. But we're going to go with it anyway. I mean, part of this, you know, is showing you know, the actual, like, just raw journey and exploration, you know. This is one of the things where, say like with this hand or something, I prefer to draw out from my own understanding first and then correct it. So say if this was going to be for like a tattoo or something, I would draw it out like this, probably make a lot of mistakes, and then find reference that matched what I was trying to draw instead of trying to match what I'm drawing to any reference. And the easiest, I guess most effective way to do that is to kind of work on what you want to do first, and then reference, and then use reference. If you look at the reference first, then that's going to influence you. It can override you. It can really like take away, you know, your own creative solutions from. I knew this was going to be terrible. You know, from the actual exploration, because say going through all of this and just messing up these fingers over and over again. One of the things it'll do when you look and find say an image that fits what you're trying to do, it'll show you, like, you'll understand your mistakes better. Instead of skipping over those mistakes, you'll understand. You're like, oh, okay, so I drew this a little wrong, or a little short, or a little thick, or whatever, and so I got to remember not to do it that way. You know, even if like your instincts or your habits might push you in that direction. You know, and sometimes over and over again. You know, it's one of those things. You know, so that study is important for sure. I am going to go a different direction with this. I'm not going to be referencing any of this, so I'm just pulling all of this from my memory. So there's not going to be going back to do any correction. And in that case, I'm going to do something that's kind of more simplified, easier to draw. Not going to try to really heavily challenge myself on this. Oh, look at that teeny little thumb. It's so small. Man, that's terrible. Here we go. Here's the struggle show. All right. I'm gonna do this a little differently here. All right. That real easy little side fist. We're going back. It's gonna be the easy option. And so we're just gonna do this. Part of this as an exercise for me, you know, as a daily kind of warm-up sort of thing, and I really don't recommend challenging yourself too heavily with the warm-up drawings. They should be something that's easy, familiar, something that you're going to be successful at. It's going to be much easier to pull off. Something that you don't necessarily have to worry about screwing up, at least not a lot. And it'll kind of get you going in a positive way for your day as far as drawing and stuff. You do something that's really outside of your comfort zone and challenging right at the beginning of the day, the first thing that you do, and it's really going to sour that whole day as far as how much you feel that your art skills are at or not at, kind of thing. Yeah, so I'm just gonna go with that, and maybe nothing exactly to write home to Mom about, but nonetheless, we're going with it. Yeah, so let's get a little bit of this. We'll put in some abs. Alright, I think we've got him pretty decent as it is like that. We're going to drop that opacity down into the sketch lightness. Alright, now let's do something here with this head. Now that we've got this kind of light structure, and see, if I was doing all of this on paper, I would have drawn, I probably would have erased this head and shrunk it by hand, drawn it a little bit smaller, and definitely would have taken a bit longer with that sort of thing. But generally I would have drawn all of this really, really light, really softly, the sketch part, and then come in at this stage and used a little bit more pressure with my pencil, gone a little bit heavier, a little bit darker, maybe even just used a darker, softer pencil to make heavier lines and stuff, and then work it up and then build it over the top of this lighter sketch. That way I don't necessarily have to worry too much about erasing anything, especially if it's just like some errant line or something. I'm definitely not worried about that kind of stuff, because again, I would, and if I was working on paper on this, I would definitely be, if I would be inking this, I'd be inking it on a light board. So I would just put another piece of paper over the top of this on the light board and then ink it clean, so then there's still no reason to erase anything. And part of that is I like keeping my raw, sketchy kind of drawings and stuff. Part of me is kind of like I don't know. It's like showing your work in math. It's really like it's really the real creative process is. Nobody can say that you like traced or directly did a rip-off if you know, if you can show that work, you know. So we're gonna go in through here, this. Gonna do this. Here we go. Yeah, that looks better. A little more symmetrical. A bit more feral. A little bit more better put together. Bring this part. So these like wings. I don't know really how else to describe them like that. Come back here. I always like this little hook down here at the bottom. And I liked this part where it shoots out and then comes up. And always, you know, more in line with like the 90s interpretation of this costume. With the original version of his costume, you know, these things were really subtle, really small, and just kind of like slid off the top of his head a little bit. Probably a bit more practical, realistic for sure, but it's comic books, man. That's not what you're here for. And so, yeah, let's put that right there. So I really like, you know, the more exaggerated, more stylized. You know, I like the way that Wolverine looks more with this. I mean, of course, and as I was saying before, it's ridiculous, but it's I don't know, it looks cool. So we're gonna do that. I'm gonna look at his dome. Doesn't need to be so big. Pay attention to the rest of the head. That should kind of come through here, here. Now, this guy can have a bit of a massive jaw. He's also like, he's got those sideburns he's got to tuck into this mask too, you know, so. Yeah, let's see, a couple more angry face lines in there. Maybe a little extra lip on the top. Just makes him look a little bit more mad. Bring some neck muscles coming out here like this. Just kind of suggest that because this dude has got a neck. Work like that. Kind of suggest, yeah, with those traps. Now coming off here like this right here, this is bad. That's a tangent where all those lines kind of meet up together into a point. It can get really confusing as far as what's going above, behind, that kind of stuff. You know, so we want to do it more like this, where there's that T, and then that makes a lot more sense, and it makes everything a lot easier to read. It's a subtle little thing, man, but it'll totally flatten out and just deaden, you know, a drawing, you know, and make it look really really amateur, really, as it were. This guy is butching. Let me see here. I'm just gonna do a little bit of hatching here because I don't care. That's what I'm doing. Underhead shadow that really pokes the head out. It still doesn't mean you don't have to thicken that line up on the underside. You know, the thicker lines on the underside really builds up that volume. Simple trick, just a simple trick. And then bam. This, I mean, thankfully, and this does, you know, a big part. I mean, yeah, there's some exceptions for sure to superhero costumes. You know, I'd say that like, I mean, Spider-Man's pretty memorable and iconic, but not necessarily always easy to draw, especially in like a repetitive frame by frame kind of basis. Uh, you know, and then there's, you know, the era of like the extreme vigilantes and stuff like Cable, Deadpool and stuff like that, where their costumes were really unnecessarily overly detailed and became, you know, a bit of a challenge drawing them over and over and over again for a comic book illustration. But you know, then they would get re-simplified and stuff. And whatnot. You know, Wolverine's costume, and especially how it's evolved, you know, the blue and yellow and the black and tan versions are really close to each other as far as like the design of them. Man, but they're so simple and work so well. I mean, it really is just, you know, really smart design work on the part of the costume creators. When they came up with these, you know, easy to redraw, easy to identify, you know, and yeah, it's just massively clever and good design. Bring it through here. Yeah, I'd say Batman's definitely on that list of like perfect, just perfect superhero design. Iconic, simple, you know, room to embellish, room for detail, really easy to interpret, and reinterpret. You know, you can still do that costume like 50 different ways, and nobody will be confused over who it is, you know, over who that character is, or who the what superhero family the character fits in. You know, there's a motif to the whole Bat family kind of costume designs and stuff. And I mean, in a lot of them, you know, like you have Batgirl and all that stuff. But you know, even like Nightwing and stuff. You know, Nightwing has always felt to me, you know, like a good actual a solid Batman design, you know, where say something like Robin to me is more of like an acclimated design in the Bat family, that we see it as part of the Bat family just because that's where we've always seen it. You know, we just become familiar with it as that thing. But I don't think aesthetically and design wise that it really fits the kind of motif, you know. Where Wolverine's uniforms have always been pretty close to each other, and then, you know, I mean, he's a guy that doesn't even really need a superhero costume, but I think that's one of the things that kind of lends itself to the intensity of Wolverine here. You can just go with the whole Canadian trucker look and be good, you know. So yeah, I mean, let me do a little time check here. Where are we at? Man, I didn't even see where my little time thing is here. Oh, okay, I guess we've been going for about 30 minutes or so. Yeah. So this is I think this is where we're gonna leave this one pretty much. This is been my art stream video. Yeah, it's I think it's gonna be a good day. It's been looking like it's gonna be pretty awesome. I am excited and just happy to be here, man. Just happy to be here. We will put this stuff together. Yeah, let's shape this in. Let's draw this. I don't know if I would consider Wolverine to be. I don't really shape that part in. It's not supposed one of my would fit into that camp of like confidence drawing. One of those things that's like really easy to draw that I'm pretty confident that I can pull off every time. There are many times when I pull off or draw a picture of Wolverine and I just hate it. There's got to be a certain kind of intensity to a Wolverine drawing that if it's not there, then I just I don't know. It's weird. It just doesn't work for me. I don't end up liking it. I think I'm way more insistent on seeing that in my own drawings of Wolverine than I am for others. But he's got to have this intensity to him, man. He's got to have a seriousness to him. He's a serious guy by to a fault. He's in pain all the time. Hard to be silly when you're in pain all the time, I guess. I don't know. But, yeah. Alright, so we're just going to go with this. Yeah, this is something I think I can, probably just keep going and going and going and going on. But we're not. Yeah, alright, there we are. No, we're done. So, da-da-da. Here we go. And is there buffering? What's happening? All right, well, let me see here. We are just gonna go and move on to this here. Got the Wolverine drawing. I've got a lot of other things I got to do today. So we'll call it there. Gonna try to do this again tomorrow. Again, I'll announce it, and we'll see how things turn out. We'll see if I can get onto that screen where I can see actually like what's going on, as far as like who's on, who's not, and we'll see how that goes. All right, so like, subscribe, do all the YouTube things and all that stuff. You can check us out on Patreon and everything right up here, and yeah, we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks.